Hello, friends. So, now that we have spoken about how the internet works, in this video, we'll talk about how exactly do websites work. What does documents like HTML do exactly? Now, in order to access Facebook or any other application, we all know that you need a browser, right? And that can be Chrome, Opera, or Mozilla Firefox, etc. Right? Now, what are these browsers? These are all pieces of softwares that allow you to look up to the IP address of your website and be able to receive the data that it can render into these beautiful websites that we see. Now, suppose you're just sitting in a laptop and you're opening Facebook and you can see this Facebook login page. Now, you are wondering that this Facebook page, how is this thing look so attractive? Why is it so easy to use? Why do people love this thing? How is it so user friendly? Why is it in so much demand? How do they design it? What is it which makes people attract? What is the methodology behind it? Do they make money by creating such a thing? What if I create such a thing? What if I try designing such a thing? Let's begin and see what they must have used. Now, seeing into this Facebook login page, you must have come across these many questions. Now, to answer these many questions, we have to deep dive into some of the logical concepts which has been used in web development. Now, the data that you receive from the server usually consists of three types of files: HTML, CSS, and JS. Now, what exactly do they do? And why are there are so many different types of files, right? Well, they actually have very different jobs. Now, when you talk about HTML, the HTML code file is responsible for the structure of your website. Just like a human body is having the skeleton, which is just a normal structure. So you could use HTML to add an image or button or text box, whatever it is that you need in your website, to just define the structure of your web page. Now, the second type of file are CSS files, and these files are responsible for styling your website. Now, if the structure is a skeleton in the body, that means the styling will be the eyes, nose, ears, lips, and the clothes which you are wearing. When you incorporate CSS, it allows you to specify how you want your websites to look. So you could say that, yes, I have a button that I got from my HTML, but that button I want it to be red in color. And I want the font of the text to be in Arial. And I want the text to be in white color. Again, I'm repeating. So we have a button that I got from my HTML, but that button I want it to be red. I want the font of the text to be in Arial, and I want the text to be in white. That is all done using CSS code. Now the final component which is there is JS code, and this is the code that allows your website to actually do things or have behavior. So if skeleton is an HTML and the dress or the clothing and the eyes and ear is CSS, then obviously when that boy is playing or going to the school is nothing but his behavior. And that is what JS does. So for example, that button I added earlier on with my HTML code, only when I have the JavaScript code, I can actually make it do something interesting. Like when I click on that button, it will send off an email. Or when I click on that button, it will do some event. That is nothing but JavaScript. So if we take the Google website as an example again, once we receive these files from Google server, when our browser loads up the HTML files or CSS file or JS file, then what does it do? When HTML file is incorporated, then we will get to see the structure of the website. Namely, there will be one image which has their logo. Will be two buttons and there is a text box where we can enter our search. Now, when we receive the CSS file inside our system, then that will modify the appearance of all of those components. We don't have any more buttons or any more images, but they now look the way that Google wanted it to look. And finally, when we incorporate JS into it, then our website actually will be able to do something functionality and starts having behavior. So JavaScript, it has functionality and it's actually able to do something rather than just display some images and text to us. Now let's revise and summarize in an easy way what we have just learned. Let's compare websites to a person. We have got eyes, ears, legs, and arms, while the website has text, images, videos, and buttons on the outside. We both of us appear pretty straightforward, but we wouldn't look the way we do without a code. Ours, human beings, happens to be a genetic code which is called as DNA, whereas website code is called as HTML. Now, websites are made up of files just like the ones you have on your computer, but a website files are written inside code. So you need something that decodes it all for you when you are browsing the internet. That's where your web browser comes in. Thank you.